So in this video we are going to discuss about typecasting. So let's discuss first of all what is typecasting. Typecasting is nothing but converting from one data type to another. Converting a value from one data type to another. That's pretty much simple. Clear? So let's see in practice what are the different kind of typecasting I can perform. So let's suppose if you are writing a value in number, I am defining a number and you am with a value 5, right? So let's print the type of it, because typecasting is all about changing the type, right? If I'm checking the type of this variable num, so here you can see the type of the variable is nothing but integer. Simple. Now what if I want to convert it to a float? So what I can do for that, I will write number, and this number I'll pass it through a float. If I'm passing it through a float and after that I'm printing it, first of all what I will get, let's check the difference, right? Okay, let's write them in the same way. I'm printing the num, after that I'm printing with a float of num, and now if we're executing it, here you can see initially the value is 5, but after writing float of num you are getting 5.0, means you have converted this data type into another data type that is of a float. Clear? Similarly, what if you are having a value 5.0? 5.0 is the value that let's suppose, yes, for this point of time let's take 5.0, and the type of it is obviously going to be float. What if you want to convert it into integer? To convert the float to integer, I will write int here, int. Let's execute it and see the difference. So the current value is 5.0 that we have printed in the beginning. 5.0 is this num value, which is by default it is a float. But now if we are checking the type of it here, so here you can see earlier the value is float, but now the value is in the form of an int, right? So this is how you can cast a typecast from a string, from a float to integer and integer to float, right? So let's discuss if we can convert the value from a boolean as well, right? Because that is an interesting question that we have discussed earlier as well. If I'm writing true here, right? So the value of true is, so the type of true should be boolean, right? If I'm converting my true to an integer, what I will get, let's see. I'm getting a 1, right? And that is why when I'm adding true plus false, I'm getting a 1, because true is 1 and false is 0. So let's do one thing, let's add false here as well, and let's see if we are converting a false into integer, what I will get. False into integer will give you 0. That means booleans are nothing but, if you are talking about numbers, booleans are either 0 or 1. 0 means false, 1 means true, right? So this is how you can convert it to these particular values as well. And what about the floats? Can we convert them into floats as well? Yes, we can convert them into floats, right? Like if we are talking about false, the value is 0.0, and for true the value should be 1.0. Clear? Now let's go for the last type of typecasting, that is of the strings. Clear? For typecasting the strings, I need to have a string first of all, and in this particular string I am defining a name, right? Now one thing is sure, that I cannot convert Ashish to a number, right? And now even if I'm trying to do it, I will get an error, right? Because I'm having Ashish and I cannot convert into a base 10 format. This is a different format, right? For this point of time, just understand that base 10 is a totally different format as compared to the basic format that we are having in integer. In integer, we can have 10 values from 0 to 9, right? But in characters, I am having 26 values, right, from A to Z. And even if I'm counting, because in strings I'm having capital A and small a treated differently, so from capital A to Z I'm having 26 values, right? Small a to z, I'm having more 26 values, right? But 0 to 9, I'm having only 10 values, right? So I cannot convert these base 10 values into these particular formats, right? So what I can do, I cannot directly do it, but let's suppose if I'm having a number in form of string, like I'm having 12 here, right? 12 in form of string, and now if you're executing it here, you can check the type of num is a string, right? But now if I are converting into an integer, you are getting in integer format. How you can check it? Just print type of it. And if you're checking the type of it, you are getting class 12 int. And can we convert it into floats? Let's see. 12 to a float. 12 to a float can also be converted. And what if I'm writing 12.56? Converting it to a float, you're getting the value 12.56 in integer, in float format as well. Clear? So this is basically about the typecasting. This is the different kind of typecasting you can perform. Clear? Now one really interesting one that I'd like to tell you is, let's suppose if you're having a value 12.56. This is the value that we are having. Now if I want to typecast it into an integer, what will happen to the value? Original value is 12.56. Okay. So we are having 12.56 here. I have converted into an integer and printing the value. Now let's print after typecasting as well, that what are the differences. Initial value is 12.56. Okay, the type of it is a float in the beginning. So this is the floating point number. When I'm converting it into an integer, right? Now you can see the value is just 12 because I have removed the decimal part from it. Clear? And because I have removed the decimal part from it, now if I am converting it back to the decimal, I will not get 12.56 because that value is something that is vanished now, right? Means I mean to say is, if I am printing my number here, right? And now I'm writing number is equals to, I want to convert it into an integer of number, means I am changing the value of this number variable and assigning it to the same variable num. That means I have manipulated the value of num now. Clear? After that, I am printing the same number, and after that, what I am doing, I am converting the same number into the float. And now if I'm printing num again. And now if I'm executing it, this is something that you will get. Initially the value is 12.56. After converting into an integer, I'm getting 12. But once I'm converting it back to a float, I will not get 12.56 because that is the value that is vanished now. If I'm converting 12 to float, I'm getting 12.0. Clear? So that is something that you need to take care, that if you are converting a float into an integer, the values after the decimal are going to be vanished. Clear? So this is a practice part that I have discussed here. So yes, that's pretty much it about this particular video. And yes, I'll see you in the next one. Take care then. Bye.